Good evening. This is our regular April Board of Education meeting at North Central. 7:02. Can we say the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Call the roll, please, Mr. Smelter.
Lee,
Here.
Anthony, Homer,
Here.
Tim,
Here.
Shane.
Here.
Any items from board members? I guess I need to.
Anthony, you're muted.
All right, I'm unmuted, so at this point, I'm talking all the time.
Yeah, did Anthony ask something or say something?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Any board members have anything to bring up this evening? All right, I guess we'll go on to Mr. Wildlick in the computer programming class first for the public participation. Mr. Wildlick, you there?
Yeah, so computer programming class worked through building some robots. So I'm just going to turn it over to them and they're going to kind of talk through some of the stuff. And you guys can kind of see what they have been working on.
Okay.
All right, so Sawyer's going to talk first, kind of about.
So the assembly of the thing, just 3D printing it took like how long? A weekend or something?
At least.
At least a weekend. And we can open it up and just see the robotics of it and how long it took. And the wires, this took about like 2 days to make. Pretty fast. Pretty fast. It's supposed to be a 2-hour project, and it was very difficult because the legs wouldn't work.
Yeah. And there's only about, I think, 14 screws in the entire thing. So most of it's just plastic fitting together perfectly. So then Quinn's going to talk a little bit about all the components of it and kind of what makes these things work.
So basically there's these servo motors in here that make the legs work, and that is received to it by the Arduino circuit that's built under here. And then we have our controller that it's through Bluetooth, whatever you want to do through here. It can make it dance or walk or whatever you want, basically.
And so then Landon, if you want to go through the paces of one of the robots, you can kind of
Put it on the ground.
Yeah, go ahead and put it on the ground.
Is it on?
No, neither of them are on.
So this can do a lot of things. It has different walk modes. Make sure it's off for you. Different walk modes. Really fast. And dance. bunch of different dances. Like, that's about it.
And then eventually they're actually going to code them to do commands that they have set instead of just the built-in ones from the gamepad right now. But pretty cool projects that they worked on. So just, we wanted to share that with you guys. And if anyone has any questions, we can answer them, or you guys can move on to the next part of the meeting.
Well, first off, I want to thank you. Second off, I want to ask, is this being recorded so that we can put it out on the website? Because I think a lot of people would be interested in viewing this.
Yeah. If it's not being recorded, we could definitely put together a video and work with the tech department on getting something put out there about these things.
What was fun is last week, I hear this little, my door happened to be closed in my office, and I hear this little scratching, and this little robot is out there knocking at my door, scared the goodness out of me. It's just so much fun, and the kids were having so much fun with it. I'm just amazed at the things that they can do.
But these are the things that I feel like we need to get out there and show people that we are
Absolutely.
working on and allowing our students to explore their horizons in new directions.
Absolutely.
And just to kind of put it in perspective, this is what it looks like when it's unassembled. That's what they start with. And it turns into the robot. So it's a little, doesn't quite look the same when it's unassembled.
Anyone else got a comment, question?
No, I want to say great job to the kids and thank Mr. Wildlick for being able to offer that opportunity here at North Central. I think it's definitely a good opportunity for the kids to work in something like this. So good job to them and thank you, Greg.
I agree with that 100%. Well then, anyone else have comment or question for the board from the audience? Okay. Treasurer's report then.
Item A of the treasurer's report, we have minutes from our March 16th, 2021 regular meeting. Item B, financial statements and investments from March. Item C is a transfer of $2,195.66 to the cafeteria fund from 300 district managed fund. That was one of the items in the audit that they requested. They had me set up the no child fund that donations come in for the cafeteria fund. Originally, they asked me to set it up as a 300 fund, which was a district managed fund. They asked me to move it over to the cafeteria. Now that it's become that amount up above $2,000, they wanted it moved over to the cafeteria fund. So that's per the request of the state auditor's office. Item D, appropriation additions as listed. Total amount in general fund, $11,322.62, and total of other funds, which those are all grant funds, $139,000. 122.74. And that is all the items I had for approval. Next month, we will have our May 5-year forecast to present to you for approval, which those are done in October and May. So we will have that in May. And also at that time, we'll be through April. The financial reports will be complete through April. So with just May and June, 2 months left, we should have a good estimate where we are going to end up the fiscal year. As far as revenue over expenditures, we will not be deficit spending this year. So with all the grants that have come through that we've talked about, we should be sitting in a good spot this year. So that is all I had for this month, unless there are any questions.
Is
Questions?
this,
for-
ESSER fund, is that the ESSER two collection?
Yes, that is, a large amount of that was ESSER two. There was only a little bit left in the ESSER one, so the ESSER two is a majority of that amount there. It's the same fund, so they're not broke down by, the only difference is there's a special cost center difference. One's a 90-20 and one's a 90-21. But the fund is the same.
So there's still ESSER two funding to collect.
Yes.
It hasn't all come
We
in
haven't
yet.
got it yet. We've requested it, but it hasn't
Oh.
come yet. There's a delay from the state, of course.
Okay. And what was the large flux in the cafeteria? We get a big check from the
That was-
federal government?
Nope, that was the ESSER funds that we used to
Oh,
offset
okay, so that's gonna be
salaries
high.
all the way back to the beginning of the fiscal year. So that's
Fiscal
why you see
year,
the
that's gonna-
fluctuation
okay.
there. Yes.
That's what, I remember us talking about that.
Anything else? Any other questions for Mr. Smeltzer?
No.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report then.
I'll move.
I have a motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second? Tim? All right, I'm sure there's no other questions. Call roll, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Hammack, it's your turn.
Thanks, Homer. First of all, I want to go over the numbers for our current numbers as of today. We have 603 kids. We're actually up 2. We were at 627 on May 29th of last year, 2020. Our Nova classes are 75. They're the same as last month. And we got 29, our big number, out to West Unity Hilltop in open enrollment. That's the same as last month. So we haven't seen any difference in those. Anybody got any questions? Want to skip to number 3. I want to do a Calamity update, and then I want to go down my list here. But Calamity update. It's been over a month of the 20 minutes of extra time that we've added back in the day as of today. It's been 22 days to be exact. March 15th to April 20th. So we've made up 7 hours and 20 minutes of our time that we had to make up. So far, so good. We haven't had any issues. COVID-19 spending, we're a little bit over 111,000 to date. And positive cases as of today's board meeting is 49. Ironically enough, I don't know if you remember last month on March 16th, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but last month we were at 49 as well on March 16th. And then on February 16th, we were at 48. And these are cases that we know of, but that's reported cases. And then January 21st, we were at 42. In December, we were at 25. So we've kind of slowed down the last from February until April. So that's all looking good. As you noticed in the boardroom there, we don't have any dividers up. After spring break, the dividers were taken down from grades 3 through 12. And of course, we have to wear masks, but it seems to, I mean, I don't know how you feel when you're in that room, but it just feels better and feels like you got more space. I've got a couple transfers. We're transferring an assignment of Heather Hall from junior high ELA reading to Nova online instructor. If you recall, we had a retirement in the Nova program. So she'll be moving from her ELA position to the online instructor ISS for the 21-22 school year. It's a voluntary transfer, so there's really no action. I just want to make sure that you know that she's being voluntarily transferred. We're also transferring Casey Massey from elementary cross-categorical unit teacher to lower middle school junior high cross-categorical unit teacher for the 21-22 school year. Teachers are already under contract, voluntary transfers, they're getting moved to different positions. We have baccalaureate scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th. at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. Graduation is set for Sunday, May 30th at 2 p.m. And I'm sure Marcia will talk a little bit more about those two when she comes to hers. And then our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 18th. We'll be back to the 6:30 time. Has anybody got any questions?
Graduation is going to be in the gym this year.
Yes, in the gym. We were thinking about doing it out in the parking lot with the cars again, but sorry to disappoint. We want to do it the way we're going back to the regular way. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to share my screen so I can kind of review over our levy information. So let me know if you see my screen. You see the PowerPoint where it says proposed? Okay. Just a reminder that we have a tax levy coming up. It's for $420,000, 3.87 mils for 5 years. First due in calendar year 2022. This PowerPoint is out on our website as well. Okay, why are we asking for this? We have operated 17 years without any new operating taxes. We've experienced rising costs due to inflation, healthcare premiums, just the cost of doing business as a school to educate kids in our community. Additionally, we have lost 9.4% in property tax revenues over the past 4 years. The district most recently lost over $122,244 at the end of fiscal year 20 from the state due to state cuts in 20 and now 21. Rising cost of education of students with special needs and our commitment to providing the best education possible adds to the costs as well. So those are some things that we're working on, but the cost of doing business and educating kids is what the cost is. What's an emergency levy? It's the whole concept behind an emergency levy is to avoid deficit spending in your 5-year forecast, which we will be getting a new 5-year forecast. I believe Mr. Smeltzer said coming up, he'll be able to make predictions maybe next month or even more stable the month after that, where we're at. What have we done to control finances? Leading up to the 2021 school year, we've eliminated positions in different areas and cut back on things to the tune of $224,000. We did receive some one-time money. I know we were just talking just recently, back when Mr. Smeltzer was there, about they're called ESSER funds. We have ESSER 1 funds. We've got ESSER 2 funds. There's all these different funds. These are all federal funds we're talking about, not state and not local funds. They're federal funds. So they're going to be funds that come one time, and when they're gone, they're gone. So we did get donations from Bridgewater Township, $51,000 of their COVID relief money, and that was helping offset the cost of our COVID expenses. We were very thankful for that. Madison Township donated another $28,000 to help us with COVID relief, and we were very thankful for that. And then we received $35,000 for COVID-19 relief as well. And we spent $110,000. It's now $111,000 as of Monday. The elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund is what we're talking about. That's the federal funds coming from the federal government. ESSER 1 or round 1, we received $70,000. That's federal government funds. ESSER 2 funds, these both came out in the Trump administration. We received, or we're supposed to receive, $352,000, and we're currently working on that, but it's been delayed, as Mr. Smeltzer alluded to. So that's been delayed a little bit. And then now ESSER 3 was the one in the Biden bill that's potentially coming for next year. We don't know the exact totals, but that would be the third round of the elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund. Governor DeWine also returned 66,000 of the state foundation money to NC for this fiscal year out of the 244. So because revenues were up at the state, we did get some of that money back. And then we had a Maumee Valley Planning Organization grant that was written for $71,000. So if we get all of this money, when it all comes in, it will be about a net gain of 551,000 of one-time money for this year, and greatly assist us in staying in a positive cash position, hopefully for another year. That's our goal. This is our latest 5-year forecast, and we're showing deficit spending from last year of 91,000. And then it goes on for the next 5 years, is where our problems stem from. So in order to do away with deficit spending, you either cut or you find ways to get additional funds. And typically the way you get additional funds is not through the federal government. That doesn't happen, and it probably will never happen again like it is now. This is a once in a lifetime thing, but local funds or state funds, depending. And the state is not giving out more funds right now. So what I'm trying to show here in this is that's our 5-year forecast. We do that twice a year. It's required for every school district, and that would be ours, our latest one. There's our updated cash on hand projections, and that's based on 604 students at North Central. And if you look down through that, it shows our same line here for deficit spending, and then it will show our cash balance going down all the way to here, where we're down to $103,619. Now, again, this will be updated. And so just to give some perspective, I've put the cash on hand for other districts as well. This would be Bryan's cash on hand based on 1,994 students. If anybody will, I'm not going to go through every one, but Bryan's is here and Eden's is here. And what I do is I put the number of students they have, 511. And then Hilltop, their cash on hand balance is here. Montpelier, Stryker. Why is NC asking for this levy not asking for this levy to be continuing? Why is it 5 years? We feel that the community will be interested in a levy that is not continuing in order to hold us accountable for the next 5 years and see where we're at the end of 5 years. This is our school district income tax and property tax rates. This particular example here, where it shows a median home value of 106.9, will cost about $12 a month for this sample, for this levy. And if you see where we are now, the red would be if we would pass the levy, and this is everybody else in Williams County, where they stand right now. So this one would be North Central if we were to pick up and move that same home median value of 106.9 and the taxable income of 62,000 into Defiance County. We did one for there. And you can see where we are and where we will be if we pass a levy. It goes from, I think this is like a pinkish color to red. And have one of those for Fulton County, and have one of those for Henry County, and have one of those for Lucas County, and have one of those for Paulding County, and just trying to show how we compare in other counties. This particular example is an example right out of the auditor's page. And this example of this house would be $14.17 a month. The valuation is a little higher than the example that we gave. So if it's a little higher, it's going to be a little more. This here shows all the school districts in Williams County. This is where North Central is. This shows all the rest of them have an income tax. North Central does not. Traditional income tax pretty much taxes it taxes retirement except for Social Security. Earned income doesn't tax Social Security or retirement and a few other things. So most of the districts in Williams County have a traditional income tax, and it's anywhere from 1 to all the way to Stryker being 1.5. So we don't have one of those. School districts tax comparison. This is an average income of 50,000 for Williams County and living in a house with a market value of 100,000. And you can see North Central currently and North Central with a new levy compared to everybody else. This is a different way to look at a different graph. How to calculate based on that example, the $100,000 example. Based on this example, and this is comparing North Central to Mill Creek West Unity, but based on this example, this would be $9.88 a month or $118.52 per year for that particular example. This would be the cost, how to calculate a tax bill using the information from the average farm ground in the North Central district. This came directly from the auditor's office to our treasurer, and the average acre cost is $17.63, or the valuation. And the cost of this levy would cost approximately $2.15 per year per acre for the new levy. So depending on how many acres you would have and depending on this is the average. So some could be higher, some could be lower. This is simply the average of what it would cost for this particular levy. And that's just key points to note. Sample calculation is based on owner occupied residential property. Talks about voted millage. So that's where this slide comes in. This is North Central broken down into the general fund, bond retirement, permanent improvement, vocational school. We actually effective millage breakdown will, because as values go up, millage goes down. We have 35.94 effective mills out of 65.3 total. All schools pay the vocational school millage. If our levy fails again in May, we're going to have to take a hard look at this as a school community. We're trying to avoid a point where we have to begin to dismantle some of the very programs that have been beneficial to our students. There's lots of things that we do each and every day. The expectation is that we're going to educate kids to the best of our ability, and we want to continue to keep up technology-wise, offering different types of classes like what you just saw tonight with Mr. Weidlich, and having robotics, working with businesses. We need to do all that stuff to remain competitive. If you have questions, where can you look for additional information? You can contact myself or Mr. Smeltzer right here at North Central. We strive to provide an outstanding educational experience for our children. May 4th is the actual date for the election. This Board of Education here, proud, works hard, cares about kids. It's a kids first board, and that's exactly the essential function of what we do. Is we base our decisions on what's best for kids. That's just how it works here. We love what we do here. We're very proud of what we do here. We're very proud of the fact that we've been in person in school, going to school. We're in the minority, at least we were when we started, because we don't think it's a big deal that everybody's face to face, because we've been doing it. And we have quotes from different kids talking about, you know, their experiences here. And I think taking the time to just read some of these is amazing what kids say. NC helped me find friendships and helped me figure out I have the biggest support team behind me no matter what. An event from North Central that I still think about to this day would probably be when the 2019 golf team won the Defiance Invitational for the first time ever. On that day, there were over 20 teams competing in the tournament, with plenty of Division II and Division I high schools. In the midst of all the schools in the small Division III, North Central stunned the bigger schools and took home the first place trophy. What are things that we remember, all of us, when we were in school? Starting from a young age until I graduated, North Central has impacted me to a great extent. Being a student athlete in high school meant the countless hours of studying and the countless hours of being in the gym. North Central taught me to be driven to my goals and help guide me through life. This school holds many memories close to my heart, and I will forever cherish and to be able to look back upon. One of my favorite memories was after sporting events, no matter the outcome, we would all come together as one and pray. This speaks more than words. Something as simple as this showed how the community, the school, and athletes stood together as one. North Central guided and impacted me through the years and has led me to the position I am today, or to the position I am today. And there's many more like that. As you look through this, please, if you get a chance, take the time to look through these, because it is amazing what kids say and talk about staff members or experiences. And it just, you know, when I read them, it brings me a lot of pride. And it should everybody that knows any of these kids or has anything to do with this school. Quick fact about some NC employees. I think this is a telltale too. We have 29 former NC graduates employed at NC schools. We also have 3 board members that are NC graduates, Anthony, Homer, and Shane. Another reason why we are NC strong and NC proud is we got people that are deeply rooted. Again, a reminder, this is what the language looks like. One school, one community, one heartbeat. We are NC, and we're very proud. Okay, I got that off. That should be off the screen. Has anybody got any other questions or thoughts or?
Yeah, I got a couple things on the old list here, Bill.
Okay.
First off, talking about the Nova classes, and I know the questions come to me, and I think it's made it to you. Our student fees. One thing is, what do we call our student fees? Student workbook fees, or what is the actual title on those?
We just have a student fee, is it?
It's not called a book fee?
I think it's just a North Central student fee.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's a student fee. And then their question was, what is the fee covering if I'm doing online classes and I have no workbooks, no materials from the school whatsoever, using my own computer, my own printer ink?
Well,
why do I need to pay that $25? So if you could explain that, I'm sure they're watching.
Well, we have to actually pay for the classes that people are in. Each class for Nova has to be purchased, so it's not free. So when we provide that service, we pay for every single hour of classes that we use. So the more people that use them, the more it costs. It's really that simple.
That's all I needed. Just wanted to get it out there so they understood. Didn't see it on the agenda about the 30 passenger bus. Obviously that's tabled and done discussing, but what about the Wi-Fi with the installation and programming? That was tabled that night as well. Have you went through with that, and are we going to get that done with all the buses?
Our intention is to get that.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that was still going to happen. And the bus, we're just going to scratch and look at maybe next year.
Hopefully with ESSER 3 funds and maybe getting a big bus as opposed to a little one. Is that right, Eric? 84 passenger, 78 passenger, whatever?
It's 72. We'll reevaluate over the summer and see where we're at.
And while you're on, Eric, what do we, I know we talked about our fleet before. We're going to get rid of 2, I believe is the plan. Are we trading in? Are we sealed bid? Are we selling one to another school?
Well, right now the plan is I got the price on 3 of the older buses.
I've decided on getting rid of 3 and 8. And we have another school looking at one of them right now for a spare bus for them because they're really low on numbers. So they're checking it out right now, but yes, the goal is to get rid of 2 buses through Cardinal Bus or through another school.
And we may get more money from another school than we do Cardinal Bus.
But
Yeah, I'm sure trade-in isn't real outstanding on a
It's
school bus.
very poor.
Mm-hmm. Not a real valuable vehicle everybody wants to drive around in. And then I guess to people that are watching, bring them up to speed. Sounds like the fuel tank's been emptied or it's ran out. So we're going to move forward with getting the tank out of the ground here at the school.
yeah, so we gotta get it evacuated. There's still a little bit of diesel and water in it. So here in the next couple weeks, hopefully we can get that done. And then when summer gets here, we'll go ahead with removal of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It actually has fuel in it, and we have to get the fuel out before we can take the tank out. Or fuel mixed with water, which isn't really useful.
Anything else? Anyone?
That's all I have.
Are you good, Mr. Hannick?
I'm good.
Okay, then let's go on to Mr. Moore.
All right, good evening, everyone. A few updates from the elementary building. State testing started a week ago in the district, and actually today our 3rd graders tested, but 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, everyone's participated at this point with the state testing, at least in the ELA, the English portion of the testing. So that's up and running. Things are going quite well. Deb, there's always a few technology things, but Deb and Travis get those fixed right away, or some things with regards to state with questions being submitted. So Mrs. Renfrew gets those taken care of. But all in all, things are running smoothly with state testing. State testing finishes up in mid-May. But again, the teachers are pleased. The kids are focused. Mrs. Renfrew's done a great job setting everything up. But we'll see. We'll see here next fall what the results look like. Other year-end activities, I know we've talked about maybe a music program, that type of thing, field day. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on some of those things. Mr. Hutchison and I have talked, and we definitely want to have a field day. It's going to look a little bit different from the past, where it's basically 3 grades out there, many community members. So it's going to be an abbreviated field day, but we definitely want to get the 1st grade out there and maybe have a competition amongst the 1st grade or 2nd grade. And we've talked about some of the activities, but we're definitely going to get the kids outside and have a field day. We're looking at a couple dates in mid-May for that once testing's out of the way. Also, with a music program, we're not going to have a year-end music program like we traditionally do, but Miss Gillespie is going to begin taping the 1st grade, and they're going to be singing some songs, doing an activity, or 2nd grade or 3rd grade. She's going to try and record each grade level and get them posted on the web page for parents and community members to view. Also, teachers may have some year-end activities. We do maybe a 1st grade program, a kindergarten program, those types of things, but we're just going to stay with what we've been doing this year. If we do have some activities like that, we'll just get them recorded and placed on the school webpage for community viewing. Kindergarten screening is set for May 12th and 13th. Right now, talk to Mrs. Page, we have 32 students signed up for screening. So we're going to do that on those 2 days. I believe it's a Wednesday and Thursday. Also, we have our 16, I think 15 or 16 out of Mrs. Feller's half day kindergarten program. They'll be going in the all-day kindergarten section. We always have 3 or 4 over the summer months. So I'm looking at probably right around 50. You take those 50 and divide them by 4, because we have 3 all-day sections and 1 half-day section with Mrs. Feller. So that averages about to be about 12 to 13 per class next year. The kindergarten screening is going to be a little bit shorter this year. We're going to eliminate a few of the stations, but I'm confident screening process will go well in the team, and we'll do our very best with placement of our students and for the next school year. We eliminated our desk dividers in the 3rd through 6th grade, that hallway over spring break. Myself, Mr. Hannick, Mr. Moreland, I think Mr. Smeltzer, Mr. Sainholtz, Chris Whitus, we eliminated those dividers in those classrooms, and the students were surprised when they came back. I talked to a couple of them. They were really surprised, like, the classroom's different. What's happened? Even some of the teachers. But all in all, I think it's good. I think, hopefully we're turning the corner with regards to, like Mr. Hannick said, with regards to some of the illness and quarantine. But I thought it was time. And I know with sight lines and just the educational setting, I think it's much, much better. But all in all, I think it's working out quite well. I haven't heard anything from community members or parents or staff members questioning why they're removed. So we're moving forward. And like I said, the dividers are out of the classroom, 3rd through 6th grade. I want to thank the Pioneer Subway. They donated almost right around 100 free lunch certificates to our students, just as a reward for a good job with a reading project, a good job with a math project, anything. But they just dropped off right around 100 free little lunch certificates for the students. So I gave out like 10 to each classroom, and just recognize those students as they meet that reading goal or classroom, goal that you may have in the classroom. So I thought it was real nice of Subway for dropping that off to the school and to our students and teachers. And finally, I just want to mention our Kids Heart Challenge. That's something we do every year for the American Heart Association. And the students wrap that up right before spring break. We got our rewards in for the kids. They've been getting their t-shirts and their basketballs, so on and so forth. But they generated $8,106.04. And I'm not sure, but I thought last year was around 7,000. I believe I shared with the board and the community, and in total was in excess, I think, of 6 figures, over $100,000 we've generated to give back to the American Heart. So big thanks to the kids, and obviously Mr. Hutchison for getting that organized for another year. So it was a job well done for the American Heart Association. So that's all I have at this time. Any questions for me?
Anybody have anything for Mr. Moore?
No, but definitely do appreciate the donation from Subway.
Yeah, that was real nice. Yes.
Okay, Miss Rosa Vink.
Hello, just a few updates is all I have for tonight. Prom, I can't believe it, but it's this coming Saturday, the 24th. There's going to be a dance at the Quality Inn from 7 to 10. And then at 10:30, two buses actually, will leave this parking lot headed to Fort Wayne to Crazy Pins. That's from, I think 12 to 3, I think is what we have that rented for. And then the bus should return back here around probably 4:30-ish or something like that. We are going to have some music programs. As a matter of fact, the 6th grade, the junior high and the high school band students will perform on Sunday, May the 16th at 2 p.m. And this will be for the parents to come in, basically. Mr. Halutke has been sending out some notices to the parents and to through the kids about some of the things they're doing. The vocal concert live will be on Sunday, May 23rd at 2 p.m. in the auditoria. So we're going to do live performances, but we do have to have kind of a limited audience. Graduation will be, so far, May 30th, and it is going to be in the varsity gym, more traditional. I met with the kids, met with class officers, and that's what they want. They want the traditional. They know that they're going to have tickets. I haven't figured out exactly, but I think it's anywhere from 6 to 8 tickets per person, maybe more, but that's the minimum per person, per graduate, to invite friends, or to invite, I guess I should say, relatives, basically. We do, again, we have to limit it. We have a 25% capacity that we have to follow in the varsity gym. And we'll get all that figured out. I've been talking to Greg about what the capacity is and what I can use. We can go a little bit beyond the seating capacity in the bleachers because I'm going to set up on the floor also for the parents. So I have a little bit of leeway there. Kids are pretty excited about it. This is what they wanted to do. Spring testing, as Andy said, it's really going well. We've been doing it for 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, this week, we're just doing makeup tests in ELA. There's a window you have to do it in. So this week is based for just the makeup tests of the kids who missed or our Nova kids who are coming in, taking the tests, etc. It is going really well. Kathy Mallett has done all of the coordination in the high school, junior high and high school. She's done a fantastic job. She gets it, that she's in there. The kids are taking the test. It's just gone really well. Very, very few glitches. On our awards assembly will be, and it's at least at this point, unless something drastic changes, it's a live one in the auditoria by invitation on May 24th. I think that's a Monday. Yeah. And then the baccalaureate that same week is May 26th, which is a Wednesday in the auditoria run by the Ministerial Association. I do want to thank the school, the high school students are, when the weather is nice, today was not one of those days, but when the weather's nice, the kids are going out on the picnic tables out and eating, and they're just doing a great job. They love to be out there. They love to sit with their friends and talk. It's outside. So far, I've gone out there and kind of prodded them somewhat to make sure they clean up their mess, but they have been doing a really good job. So I want to thank the school for allowing the kids to do that. They enjoy getting out there and just sitting there and eating in the nice weather. And that's all I have.
Any questions, comments from Mrs. Roosevelt?
On graduation, I know you're saying limited capacity, so 6 tickets a kid. Have you got any negative feedback from parents? I know I've heard from a couple other schools, 6 people's not a lot.
Well, that's minimum. I'm pretty sure I can get up to 10, but I don't want, I won't put those out yet until I have the final numbers for the kids, because like some families are going to need 10 just for the immediate family with kids, grandparents or whatever. But some kids might need 5. So I need to get exactly what they need. And then I'll see what I can do about spreading it around so everybody can get kind of what they need. I don't want to exclude people. I just have to follow the rules of 25% capacity.
Right. And I understand that. And I guess I know they want the more traditional.
Yes.
And I mean, was it the more traditional option offered outdoors? I mean, I feel we got a huge parking lot.
They wanted it inside in the gym. They were pretty adamant about that.
Okay. I just feel like we could definitely get more people outdoors, spread them out, and have more of their family here. So
I don't disagree, Barry.
Probably the kids' viewpoint and the parents' viewpoint would be totally different, but
that's probably true. But I did talk to the kids. I figured, this is pretty important to them. So I did talk to the kids.
Okay.
But outside, you can have as many as you want, I believe.
Right.
If we were outside, we
got chairs, tables. I mean, we could definitely have plenty of people outdoors and have a real nice ceremony, but just wanted to make sure it was offered up.
Yep.
Anything else? Mr. Wadlett.
So beautiful spring weather for our sports. But luckily we've been able to play pretty much everything so far, other than we've had a couple things get canceled or postponed because of weather. We had a couple softball games get moved because another team was quarantined, but that's not nearly as common as it was in the winter. And we haven't had too much bad weather so far. So we've been able to be getting in most of our games. So for track, both our high school and junior high are kind of in the same boat where we have some very talented individuals. We just don't have quite enough to qualify as a team, or qualify as a team. We don't have enough to be competitive with some of the other teams who have a lot more kids, especially when we're at these smaller meets. But we've had multiple kids place either first or top 3 in events at invitationals, which is always a good thing to see kids do that. And then softball right now is either 6 or 6 or 7 or 7, depending on how you count the games they played, and they're 3 and 2 in the BBC. A couple of their games have been JV games, and the one was a JV game technically, but the other team didn't count it as a JV game. And then baseball is 7 and 5. They're 4 and 1 in the BBC, and then the JVs also played 5 games, and they're 4 and 1 overall. So we've got this week still, we've got 3 varsity baseball games, 2 JV baseball games, softball game, and a track meet. So kids will be busy, hopefully, once we get warmer.
You good? Any questions for Mr. Wildlick?
Yeah, I think while Greg's on there and seeing our crowd here, I want to talk a little bit about the weight room, if we can. I know we've gotten some scuttle from it. We're having plans designed. I guess I want to talk about our intentions and how the board would like to proceed with it, and kind of throw ideas around while we're all here, if we can.
Sure. Well, the intention over a year ago, before the pandemic hit, probably February, the intention, or at least my intention, was to put the library, the whole library for the district in that area. The library would have been on one side. The tech room would have been basically where Angie Lashaway is. And then we would have freed up some spaces for principals, the high school and the elementary principals to do other things with in the buildings. Right now we're looking at, we can still have two. I mean, the concept came out of my original idea, which the intent was to have one library, to have 2 libraries, one at the elementary and one at the high school. So that's the concept we've been working with and trying to figure out how we can accommodate taking the library that's across from the junior high and the high school and getting all that, the technology out of there into somewhere else. So that's the dilemma with that. But I do think that we could have 2 libraries if that's the desire of the board. That wasn't what I thought the desire of the board was, and I thought we were going to have one, and if we put it in a more central location that would be accessible by the high school, junior high, and the elementary. But with the new concept, if you have 2 libraries, you'll have, you know, somebody in charge of the library at the elementary, somebody in charge of the library at the junior high and high school. So you would split those people up into 2 areas. Obviously, if we're going to keep the way it is, you'd leave the elementary library where it is. You would make the high school library across from the high school office, and that would no longer be a for lack of a better purpose, a big computer lab. You would take that computer lab and you'd move it back to where the old computer lab was, where Angie Lashaway's office is currently. You could use that as a computer lab. And you could leave computers in the libraries because both libraries will have computers. And then you move people around from there. I mean, you would have different ways you can move staff around from there, which I don't want to get into all where everybody would be moving, but we are going to have 2 cross-cat units. We did move somebody into the junior high cross-cat unit tonight on a transfer, and we also moved a teacher from the junior high to the Nova, or the in-school suspension / Nova offering that we have. So where the board wants to go with that, we do have plans to put a wall in there. Plans are simply plans. That doesn't mean you have to do it. Finding out what the cost to do that is a whole nother issue once you get the plans. So that's where we are, but I do have a plan to make sure we have 2 libraries for next year, irregardless of whether we put a wall up, because the cost of putting the wall up is going to be expensive. And it's going to be probably more expensive right now.
Yeah, and I think initially, when I was in the meetings and talking about it, we were running out of classroom space. And then probably the most recent conversation I've had, seems like we're gonna be okay. Like maybe the wall isn't a critical urgency to do from what I picked up in the junior high wing when we do some shifting around.
Depending on how things play out and depending on if we're not going to have all the same people teaching all the same things. I mean, that's the big key to everything.
Right, and as for the plans, we've designed them. They're going to the state, getting submitted for approval. I mean, we have a year to follow through on those. If we choose to proceed longer than that, we can get another year extension for $100. So
right.
I don't think, looking ahead, I don't think there's an urgency till we figure out all our classroom shifting. And if we do have enough classroom space, at this time, really, there might not be a purpose to build the wall.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I agree with what you're saying.
And I mean, we're not just going to throw the wall up just to create a storage room or dead space. I mean, we're going to utilize
that's not the goal.
Open
well,
space.
I guess we could put the wall up and put storage in there, but I don't think that would be very popular.
No, absolutely not. I don't think it's very popular in general, but educational space, we definitely have to have first. And sounds like we may have enough. And I guess that's just something we're going to see down the road here, probably later in the summer when we start shifting classrooms and moving. And
we would like to do some more robotics things. We would like to have full-time labs available for like a tech type teacher to have classes in there all day rather than, sharing a lab. But I think we can accomplish some of that stuff through everybody having laptops and, using them in their classrooms and buying better quality laptops. I mean, that's another option that we have, which could benefit a lot more people all at one time. I mean, we're discussing all that stuff, but you do have to have some plans going forward and making sure you can make changes and plan ahead a little bit. Right now, it's just plans. How much it's going to cost, I have no idea. And that's maybe the biggest obstacle that we have.
Clearly, where I think we need to take all these options into consideration, taking a look at, utilizing our dollars, where they're better utilized. You've already stated, and I suppose we could probably beat that horse to death by stating, they're plans and they're just plans. And though we understand that, I think we take into consideration all the options that are being brought to the table. First and foremost, I think, we concentrate on the educational aspect that we're giving to our kids. We certainly don't want to take things away. I went to a larger school and we didn't have near as large of a weight room as we have here. So clearly they're blessed to have that, no doubt about it. I just think we'd have to step back, take a look at the options, put those options on the table, and then we can make some decisions when we have the opportunity to take and look at all the facts and make a more well-informed decision as we move forward.
Well said. That was a good question, Anthony.
Any other comments? I'm not in no rush to change things if we're okay where we're at. But I do like to have the options available. It sounds like we don't need to rush this, so we shouldn't rush this.
no, I agree. And I feel like maybe we did. I was part of it. I apologize for that. I feel like we've got some more planning ahead to do and more sorting out, and maybe got the cart before the horse here. But at least we're making plans, and we'll move forward. just
Hey,
keep chugging away and
we're allowed
make
to come up
things.
with ideas, Anthony. We're allowed to make, these principals are going to want to move things around. And at the end of the day, they're going to decide how their buildings are run as far as what classrooms and things are in. It's not going to be a public debate on whether we move this classroom here or there. Now, the wall is definitely a board decision because you would have to approve that as a board, the construction of that. So, but as far as moving classrooms around and having a library or two libraries, I think we can decide that amongst ourselves.
Yeah, no, and I agree, but I just, like you initially, I thought the library right there was gonna be just a great thing, having one central one. And once you got out and, I talked to different people and more and more made sense. What we're looking at now, having two libraries, it's better for the kids. And, it just takes communication and planning and getting everybody's opinion. And I think we're on the right path. I just think we did put the cart before the horse there, and we'll see down the road. If we do need space, we do have it available, and we're going to have plans to do something in there that we can act on in 2 years, within 2 years.
Yes. I don't see Homer.
His computer just shut down. That usually happens to Shane. Homer, what are you doing?
I kicked the power cord apparently, and had to call on Mrs. Myers one more time. Personally, I thought y'all would see this ugliness long enough, so I thought I'd give you a black space for a while. But getting back to the meeting now. Recommendations from the superintendent. Second reading of the Neola policy updates. What is this proposed? Volume 39, number 2, Edgar revisions and non-discrimination and anti-harassment policy updates as presented at the March meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
A motion
I'll
by
second.
Tim, seconded by Lee. Call roll, please.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
Second, we need to reschedule our July 27th, 2021 board meeting to Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
I got Shane. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Anthony. Call roll, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer.
Yes. A resolution to approve the MOU interagency agreement between North Central Local School District and the Village of Pioneer to provide the school district a school resource officer through the Pioneer Police Department at a 60-40 break with village to school financing. We're going to be using our wellness funds for this. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Anthony. I'll second this one. Call roll, please.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim.
I'll abstain.
Consent agenda. Quite a list. First of all, we have supplemental contracts to be held by classified employees. Aaron Shaw is a volunteer assistant track. Kristen Tomlin is a volunteer assistant softball coach. We also have a big list of non-renewals for all the certified staff and a non-renewal list for all of the classified. And there's two and a half pages of them. If anybody wants to read through. We also have to approve the open enrollment policy for the 21-22 school year. An agreement with Great Lakes Biomedical to conduct bus and van driver physicals for the 21-22 school year on Thursday, May 27th. We need to approve the graduating seniors for the 21 school year upon completion of the requirements of the North Central Local Board of Education and the state of Ohio. Improve the Northwest Ohio teacher and paraprofessional substitute list dated March 26th. Approve the FFA to the Ohio FFA summer camp at Muskegon in Carrollton County, Ohio. That would be July 12th through the 26th. And also the NC FFA officers to the officers retreat at Hocking Hills, which would be June 1st through the 3rd. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lee. Any questions or comments?
On that last FFA trip, I don't know who wrote it on the paper, but are they taking 9 students, 1 adult chaperone and 1 advisor? That won't fit in our 9-passenger van.
I'm not sure I can answer that.
Hey, Anthony, we clarified that, Mr. Hannick and myself. Miss Tracy will be driving the van with 9 students and a chaperone will be driving them,
What's the chaperone driving?
their own vehicle from my understanding.
Okay, I just want to make sure because it's only 10 passenger total, correct?
Yes.
Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane.
Yes.
And we do need an executive session for personnel. What else was it, Mr. Hanning?
Personnel and employment.
Yep. Personnel and employment.
All right. So we need an executive session.
And we want to invite Marcia
Yes.
and Greg into executive session.
And we will be inviting Mrs. Rosevink and Mr. Wildlick into this session. There will not be any further action taken this evening after the resumption of the regular board meeting.
No.
No, I thought as much. So I will entertain a motion for the executive session for personnel and employment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
I have a motion by Tim. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shane. Call roll, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Yes.
What do I got? 8:13. So we will go into Mr. Hanning's office for the meeting or the executive session. There will be no further action upon our return. I thank everyone that viewed this evening. Appreciate your attention, appreciate your concern for our school district. Please don't forget to get out and vote on May 4th. We appreciate you all and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
When you guys go back to regular board meetings?
Okay.
You want to go back to regular board meetings or everybody's sitting here?
We're probably,
Mr. Hannick, are you going to send out another Zoom invite?
I want to talk to Anthony
Or
when he brings,
just,
yeah, I want to maybe call.
or just stay on this?